Good morning, everybody. Now I will continue with the implementation of the new requirements under the Companies Amendment Ordinance. Ms. Chen has just explained the new requirements of identifying a company's significant controller under the Amendment Ordinance. I will not explain in details here again, but I would like to go through with you some important terms before we look at the examples of significant controllers. A significant controller of a company includes a registrable legal entity and a registrable person. A registrable person is a natural person or specified entity that has significant control over the company, while a registrable legal entity is a legal entity which is a member of the company and has significant control over the company. Then how to identify significant controllers? It has been explained that a person has significant control over a company if any one or more of the following conditions are met. We are going to see some examples of registrable person and registrable legal entity. Let's begin with a simple example here. There's a Hong Kong company, Company A. Company A has two shareholders. Both hold 50% of the issued shares of Company A. As they meet the first condition, that is holding more than 25% of the issued shares of the Company A, Person 1 and Person 2 are the registrable persons of Company A, and their particulars have to be entered into the significant controller register. In another example, a Hong Kong company, Company B, has 4 shareholders, holding different percentage of issued shares in Company B. Person 1 holds 26% of the issued shares, while each of Person 2 and Person 4 holds 25% of the shares in Company B, and Person 3 holds 24% of the issued shares. As only one shareholder, Person 1, holds more than 25% of the issued shares of Company B, only Person 1 is the registrable person of Company B. This example will show the registrable persons and registrable legal entity of different companies. There's a Hong Kong company, Company A, at the bottom of the chain of the companies. Company A is wholly owned by another Hong Kong company, Company B, while Company C holds 100% of the shares of Company B, and Company C has only one shareholder, Person 1. Then we look at the cases for each company. For Company C's situation, as only Person 1 is the sole shareholder of Company C, then Person 1 is the registrable person of Company C. For Company B case, Company C is the shareholder of Company B, and so it is also the registrable legal entity of Company B. And Person 1 holds interest in Company B through Company C, so Person 1 is also the registrable person of Company B. For Company A's case, Company B is holding 100% of the shares of Company A, while Company B has only one shareholder, Company C, and person 1 holds 100% of the shares of company C. As company B is the shareholder of company A, then it is also the registrable legal entity of company A. However, for company C, it is not the shareholder of company A. So even though it holds 100% of the shares of company B, it is not the registrable legal entity of company A. Person 1 holds interest in company A through company C and company B, and so person 1 is the registrable person of company A. So only the particulars of person 1 and company B will need to be entered into the register of company A. And this example will show the registrable person holding direct and indirect interest in a company. At the bottom of this chain of companies is a Hong Kong company, Company D. Company D has two shareholders, Company E and person 1. They hold 80 and 20% of the shares in Company D respectively. Company E is wholly owned by a non-Hong Kong company, Company F. And Company F has only one shareholder, person 1. So we look at each company's case. For Company F, since it is not a Hong Kong company, then it is not required under the amendment ordinance to keep a significant controller register, even though it is registered under Part 16 of the company's ordinance. For Company E's case, Company F is the shareholders of Company E, so it is also Company E's registrable legal entity. Person 1 holds interest in Company E through Company F, and so he is also the registrable person of Company E. For Company D case, since Company E is the shareholder of Company D and holds more than 25% of the shares in Company D, then it is also Company D's registrable legal entity. Person 1 holds a direct interest in Company D, cumulative with an indirect interest in Company D through Company F and Company E, so he is also the registrable person of Company D. In the register of Company D, only the particulars of person 1 and Company E have to be entered into the register. In this last example, it will show the situation when a person is not a registrable person. A Hong Kong company, Company G, has two shareholders, person 1 holding 30% of its shares, and a listed company in Hong Kong, Company H, hold the remaining 70% of the shares. Person 1 holds more than 25% of the issued shares in Company A, so person 1 is the registrable person of Company G. As Company H is a listed company in Hong Kong, individuals holding interest in Company G through Company H are not registrable persons under Company G. It is not necessary for Company G to investigate whether there's any person has significant control over the company through H. This means that if the registrable legal entity, that is the shareholder of the company, is a company with shares listed in Hong Kong, it is not necessary to investigate upward who are the ultimate beneficial owners. After identifying who is the significant controllers of the company, if the company has already been informed of the identity of the significant controllers and all the particulars have been provided to the company by the relevant person or with the person's knowledge, then it is not necessary to give notice. Otherwise, the company should issue a notice to its significant controller within 7 days of the identification of the significant controller. The person receiving the notice, that is the addressee, should confirm whether he is the significant controller of the company or not. If yes, he should confirm or correct the required particulars and provide any missing particulars. The addressee is also required to state whether he knows another person who is a significant controller of the company or not. If yes, he should also provide the specified particular of that person. The addressee is required to give reply within 1 month from the date of the notice. Failure to comply with the notice is an offense. Addressee of the notice and every related person are liable to a maximum fine of $25,000. Samples of different types of notice can be found in NSD of the Guideline on the Keeping of the Significant Controller Register by Companies. And this guideline can be downloaded from our website. After receiving confirmation from the significant controller, the company should then enter his or her particulars into the register within 7 days. Then what to be included in the register? The required particulars of a registrable person who is a natural person include the person's name, correspondence address, Hong Kong ID card number. If there's no Hong Kong ID card, then the passport number and passport issuing country, the date of becoming a significant controller, and the nature of control over the company. For the case of registrable legal entity, the required particulars include the entity's name, registration number, address of its register or principal office, legal form and the law that governs it, the date of becoming a significant controller, and the nature of control over the company. The company is also required to enter the name and contact details of its designated representative in the register. Let's see some example of the SCR. In this simple example, Company A has only one shareholder, and he is confirmed to be Company A's significant controller. Then the particular of Mr. Chen should be entered into the register of Company A. In addition, the details of the designated representative of Company A should also be entered into the register. You may not see clearly here, but you can find the example in the guideline I just mentioned. Actually, we have received many inquiries about what should be entered as the date of becoming a registrable person. if the person have become a member of the company long ago before 1st of March. As the amendment ordinance only comes into operation on the 1st of March, so the date of becoming registrable persons should not be earlier than the 1st of March. We also received inquiry about the date of entry. The age of entry can be a different day from the date of becoming a registrable person. It is the day when the particulars of a registrable person are entered into the register. So this day can be a date later than the 1st of March. We look at another example. Company B has only one shareholder, ABC Profits Limited. ABC Profits Limited is in turn wholly owned by Mr. Lee beneficially. So, in the register of Company B, the particulars of ABC Profits Limited should be stated as it is the registrable legal entity of Company B. The particulars of Mr. Lee being the registrable person should also be entered into the register. Company B's designated representative are also required to be entered into the register too. Besides the particular of the significant controllers and the designated representative, some additional matters are also required to be noted in the register. I will show some common examples here. As said before, the register cannot be empty. If a company does not have any registrable person or registrable legal entity, this fact must be stated in the register. So you may make reference to this sentence and enter similar sentence in your register. Moreover, if a company has identified a registrable person of the company, but not all the required particulars of the person have been provided or confirmed, then in this situation should also be stated in the register. For this third example, this is the example many of you may need to enter into the register now. This is a situation when the company is in the process of taking reasonable steps to ascertain whether it has significant controller or not, and the process had not been completed. Then this fact has also need to be stated in the register. And lastly, if a notice has been given to a significant controller, but that person has failed to reply to the notice within the period of 1 month, so such situations should be entered into the register too. Some more examples of additional matters can be found in Annex C of the guideline. You may make reference in the guideline. The SCR can be kept in the company's register office or a place in Hong Kong. If the register is not kept at the register office, the company should file Form NR2 within 15 days after the register is first kept at that place. However, an existing company, that is a company incorporated before the 1st of March, is not required to give notification to the register if the SCR is kept at the same place where the company's register of members is kept and the register have already been informed of that place. However, if there is subsequent change to the location of the register, the company has to file a Form NR2 within 15 days after the day of the change to report the new location to the register. Form NR2 have been revised to cater for reporting of the location of the significant controller register, and the revised form have been gazetted on the 9th of February this year. And from the 1st of March, the company's registry accepts the revised Form NR2 for registration only, and this revised form can be downloaded from the company's registry's website. We have set up a dedicated thematic section on significant controller register on our website. Useful information can be found in the website. You are encouraged to visit our website for more detailed information. The Amendment Ordinance comes into operation on the 1st of March. The new law does not require a company to enter all the particulars of its significant controller in the register on the 1st of March. You can start taking reasonable steps to identify the company's significant controller, giving notice, etc. now. So this is the end of my presentation. Thank you.